Update news: Zelenskyy promises no let-up in counter-offensive against Russia. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has promised there will be no let-up in Ukraine's campaign to regain territory lost to Russia. The pledge on Sunday came as the United Kingdom said Russian forces were stepping up raids on civilian infrastructure, and a top United States general warned it was unclear how Moscow would react to its battlefield setbacks in Ukraine. Zelenskyy said Ukrainian forces would keep up the pressure on Russia. Perhaps now it seems to some of you that after a series of victories we now have a lull of sorts, he said in his nightly video address. Perhaps now it seems to some of you that after a series of victories we now have a lull of sorts. The Ukrainian military said its forces had repelled attacks by Russian troops in the areas of the Kharkiv region in the east and Kherson in the south, where Ukraine launched counteroffensives this month, as well as in parts of neighboring Donetsk. It said Ukrainian troops had advanced to the eastern bank of the Oskol River in Kharkiv region. Update news: Zelenskyy promises no let-up in counter-offensive against Russia. From yesterday, Ukraine controls the East Bank, it said on Telegram. Serhiy Haidai, governor of the neighboring Luhansk region, said this meant that deoccupation of his region was not far away. As Russian shells hit towns and cities over the weekend, the British Defense Ministry warned that Moscow was likely to increase attacks on civilian targets as it suffers battlefield defeats. In the last 7 days, Russia has increased its targeting of civilian infrastructure even where it probably perceives no immediate military effect, the ministry said in an online briefing. From yesterday, Ukraine controls the East Bank. U.S. Army General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, meanwhile called for vigilance after visiting a base in Poland supporting Ukraine's war effort. His remarks were a reminder of the risks of escalation as the U.S. and its NATO allies aid Ukraine from a distance. The war is not going too well for Russia right now, so it's incumbent upon all of us to maintain high states of readiness, alert, he said after his trip to the base, which reporters traveling with him were asked not to identify. In areas retaken from Russian forces, returning Ukrainians were searching for their dead relatives. Update news: Zelenskyy promises no let-up in counter-offensive against Russia. In Izium, where Ukrainian officials said they had found 440 bodies at a forest grave site, Vladimir Kolesnik was trying to match numbers on wooden crosses with names on a neatly handwritten list to locate relatives who he said were killed in an air raid early in the war. Kolesnik told the Reuters news agency that he got the list from a local funeral company that dug the graves. They buried the bodies in bags, without coffins, without anything. I was not allowed here at first. They, Russians, said it was mined and asked to wait, he said. Meanwhile, prosecutors in Kharkiv are accusing Russia of torturing civilians in one village that was recently freed. In an online statement, they said they found a basement where Russian forces allegedly tortured prisoners in Kozakolopan, near the border with Russia. In images they released, they showed a Russian military TA-57 telephone with additional wires and alligator clips attached to it. Ukrainian officials have accused Russian forces of using the Soviet-era radio telephones as a power source to shock prisoners during interrogation. It was not immediately possible to verify the Ukrainians' claims.